Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
I don't think I will have a career after this. I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me. He broke me. And then I was like, no, this isn't right. It's just not right. And I apologized because that was the right thing to do and I meant it. And then I saw the tide turning and I saw what they were doing and I went, oh, okay, they're trying to spin this and they're making it about Barron, and obviously that was never my intent. I would never want to hurt anyone, much less a child, but I started to see what was really happening. And then it was a mob mentality pile-on. And so many people have expressed to me personally across the country at my shows, they're scared. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get arrested today. I don't know. But I have to stand up. Excuse me?
What do you think about CNN firing you?
It's hurtful to me.
Wow. Tough to watch. There is J. Edgar Comey, broken by President Donald Trump. I mean, you saw the video, folks. J. Edgar Comey just brought to tears, really barely even able to get through that speech. J. Edgar Comey. Of course, that was a comical piece of the besieged Kathy Griffin, who is now fired from the dying CNN, who can't even beat out reruns of old news shows. They can't even crack the top 20 of news shows. CNN is almost dead. And when you put on people like Don Lemon and Jake Crapper, well, that's what you're going to get. So there's the comical piece of J. Edgar Comey, of course, with Kathy Griffin crying over it. That was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. Now, let's go to actually a highlight clip of the Comey testimony that was. We have boiled it down to what we believe are the top highlights, the top moments from the Comey hearing. Go ahead and roll that clip, guys.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes.
That's
and
illegal.
To whom did you show copies?
And my judgment was I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought
head
that
of the
might prompt the
FBI,
appointment of a special counsel,
who would be in
so
charge of finding leakers, ends up being the leaker himself.
I would see what we could do.
Illegally.
What did you mean?
That was kind of a slightly cowardly way of trying to
Oh,
avoid
he admits
telling
he's a
him,
coward.
We're
That's
not gonna
classic.
do that I would see what we could do. It was
That's
a way
the head of the
kind
FBI, folks, a
getting
self-admitted
off
coward.
The phone, frankly.
That's
and
nice.
then I turned and handed it to the acting Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Bente.
The decision to publicly go out with your results on the email, was your decision influenced by the Attorney General's tarmac meeting with the former President Bill
Which
Clinton?
also was illegal?
Yes, in a ultimately conclusive way. That was the thing that capped it
So
for
the
me, that I
illegal
had to do
meeting
something
influenced
separately.
your decision.
Probably the only other
okay.
consideration that I guess I can talk about in open setting is that at one point the Attorney General
I'll
had
tell you
directed
later.
me
I'll tell you in
not
a
to call
closed
it
setting.
An investigation, but instead to call it a matter.
Maybe when I'm not on
So
oath.
on the cloud, we keep talking about this cloud. You perceive
So
the
that's
cloud
fine.
to
I'll tell you
be
the truth about
the
Loretta
Russian
Lynch when I'm not under
investigation
oath.
in
That's
general.
nice.
Yes, sir.
But the specific ask
Now,
was
little
that you would tell
Marco
the American
ends up
people
being the
what you had
biggest
already
one of
told him,
all.
what you had already told the leaders of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, that he was not personally under investigation.
Yes, sir.
In
That's
fact,
how
he was asking you to do what you have done here today.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And just to be clear, for you to make a public statement that he was not under investigation would not have been illegal, but you felt it made no sense because it could potentially create a duty to correct.
Yeah,
if
he didn't want to
circumstances
release that
changed.
because he was
Yes, sir. We
afraid
wrestled with
that it would
before my
interfere with
testimony
the
where I
investigation
confirmed,
he's doing, even though
that
it
it was
would have
an
been evidence
investigation.
in the investigation he was doing.
Requests were, number one,
It's complete madness.
be loyal. Number two, let the Mike
He's already
Flynn thing
admitted
go.
he's
a
broken
good
the law
guy. He's been
twice.
treated unfairly. And number three, can you please tell the American people what these leaders in Congress already know, what you already know, what you've told me 3 times, that I'm not personally under investigation?
Those are the 3 things he asked. Yes, sir.
You know, this investigation is full of leaks left and right. I mean, we've learned more
Marco
from the
Rubio,
newspapers
Lil
sometimes than we
Marco,
do from our
bigger
open
than
hearings,
7
for
foot tall Jim Comey.
Do you ever wonder why, of all the things in this investigation, the only thing that's never been leaked is the fact that the president was not personally under investigation, despite the fact that both Democrats and Republicans and the leadership of Congress knew that and have known that for weeks?
Wouldn't have anything to do with the political witch hunt, I'm sure.
Here, you bring up, let's talk now about the general Russia investigation, okay? In page 6 of your testimony, you say, the first thing you say is, he asked what we could do to, quote unquote, lift the cloud, the general Russia investigation, and you responded that we were investigating the matter as quickly as we could and that there would be great benefit if we didn't find anything to having done the work well. And he agreed. He re-emphasized the problems it was causing him, but he agreed. So in essence, the president agreed with your statement that it would be great if we could have an investigation, all the facts came out, and we found nothing. So he agreed that that would be ideal, but this cloud is still messing up my ability to do the rest of my agenda. Is that an accurate assessment of?
Yes, sir. He actually went farther than that. He said, and if some of my satellites did something wrong, it'd be good to find that out.
Well, that's the second part, and that is the satellites. He said if one of my satellites, I imagine by that he meant some of the other people surrounding his campaign did something wrong, it would be great to know that as well.
Yes, sir. That's what he said.
Quote, I hope, this is the president speaking, I hope
So basically,
you can see your way
no
clear to
interference
letting this
at
go,
all
to
with
letting
the
Flynn
investigation.
go. He is a good guy. I hope you can let this go. Now, those are his exact words. Is that correct?
Correct.
That is according to Comey. Trump today denied that. Trump today said that that is not
He did
true,
not direct you to let it go.
which then brings up the conversation of
his
the
words,
tapes
no.
again.
He did not order you to let it go.
Not in his words.
Again, those words are not in order.
No.
And the reason I keep saying his words is I took it as a direction.
Right.
I mean, this is the President of the United States with me alone saying, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do.
But you
Now, I
weren't
didn't
there
obey
to
that, but
investigate
that's the way I
him.
took it.
And as you perceived it,
So
while it was
why
a
did you
requested
take it that
hope,
way?
did
You
away
weren't
with
there
it.
to do an
You perceived
investigation.
it
You were
as
just having a
order.
meeting, which
Given the
actually you
position of
called,
setting
you
the
scheduled it,
likeness
and then
of
you
the
said Trump scheduled it.
Yes.
Do you believe that you were fired because you refused to take the president's direction? Is that the ultimate reason?
I don't know for sure. I know I was fired.
Even though he
Again,
already
I take
said that the president
words.
didn't give him
I know
that
I was
direction.
fired because of something about the way I was conducting the Russia investigation was in some
you
way
were
putting
wasting
pressure
our
on him,
time.
in some
You were
way
wasting energy.
irritating him, and he decided to fire
It's
me
irritating
because
all
that.
of us.
It had been appropriate for the Attorney General, or if she had recused herself, which she did not do, for the Deputy Attorney General to appoint a special counsel. That's essentially what's happened now with Director Mueller. Would that have been an appropriate step in the Clinton email investigation, in your opinion?
Certainly a possible step, yes, sir.
And were you aware that Ms. Lynch had been requested numerous times to appoint a special counsel and had refused?
Yes, from, I think Congress had, members of Congress had repeatedly
Speaking of
asked, yes, sir.
collusion,
Yours truly.
Clinton and
did
Lynch,
on
huh?
multiple occasions. And
apparently
that-
Comey too, because he was aware of it and did nothing, so he's in there too.
Appearance of a conflict of interest with the Department of Justice, which caused you to make what you have described as an incredibly painful decision to basically take the matter up yourself, and led to that July press conference.
Yes, sir. After the President Clinton, former President Clinton, met on the plane with the Attorney General, I considered whether I should call for the appointment of a special counsel, and I decided
But you
that would
didn't
be an
because
unfair
Loretta
thing to
Lynch
do,
told you
because I
not
knew
to
there was
because
no
Clinton
case
told her
there.
to
They
tell you not
investigated
to.
very, very thoroughly. I know this is a subject of passionate disagreement, but I knew there was no case there, and calling for the appointment of special counsel
He knew
would
there was
be
no
brutally
case there,
unfair,
even
because
though
it would send the
he
message,
indicted
"Aha,
Hillary
there's something
Clinton
here."
in
That was my
his
judgment. Again,
formal
lots of
hearing
people have
before
different views of
saying
that.
he wouldn't
remember,
prosecute.
You talked with us shortly after February 14th when the New York Times wrote an article that suggested that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians. You remember reading that article when it first came out?
I do. It was about allegedly extensive electronic surveillance. That
Correct.
Communications. Yes.
And
Wiretapping.
That upset you
Wiretapping.
to the point where you actually went out and surveyed the intelligence community to see whether you were missing something in that. Is that correct?
That's correct. I want to be careful in open setting, but
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
he
go
doesn't want to
further
lie
than-
because he knows
So
Obama
thank
was
you.
spying on everything.
In addition to that, after that, you sought out both Republican and Democrat senators to tell them that, hey, I don't know where this is coming from, but this is not the case. This is not factual. Do you recall?
I mean, the New York Times was inventing stuff?
So again, so the American people can understand this, that report by the New York Times was not true. Is that a fair statement?
yeah, in the main, it was not true.
But it's still ongoing.
In the main.
So far as I know, it was when I left.
That investigation was going on. This investigation is going on. You
John
reach separate
McCain.
conclusions.
No, that one was done.
That investigation of any involvement.
Look at
of
Comey's face. He's like, wait, this is not
Secretary
how we
Clinton
rehearsed
or
it.
any
What's
of her
going on?
associates is completed.
Yes,
oh my
as
gosh.
of July the 5th.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
the FBI
McCain is
completed
literally,
its
he's having a
investigative
senile
work, and
moment right
that's
now.
what I
Oh my
was
gosh.
announcing what we had done and what we had found.
Secretary Clinton, for any activities
He's so confused.
involved in the Russia involvement in our engagement in our election. I don't quite
See,
understand.
the funny thing is, there's
how you
McCain
can
slipping
be
up
done
and
with
saying
that, but not
Clinton
done
involved with Russia,
with the
which is
full
actually the truth.
investigation of their
But
attempts
Comey
to
doesn't answer that
affect the
because it's
outcome
not
of
how they
our
rehearsed it, and he's here to
No, I'm
demonize
sorry.
Trump.
We're not, at least when I left, when I was fired on May the 9th, there was still an open, active investigation to understand the Russian efforts and whether any Americans work with them.
Which McCain just slipped up in his mental state, which is deteriorating, and said Clinton.
Secretary Clinton. So you reach
See,
the conclusion.
this is amazing.
In the case
McCain,
of Ms.
in his
Comey,
senile mind, is actually
President
admitting that it was Clinton. And Comey is sitting here like, wait a second, we're supposed to be demonizing Trump. You're blowing it.
have an ongoing investigation. So you got one candidate,
and then he just has no
who
idea
you're
what he's
done
saying.
with, and another candidate that you have a long way to go. Is that correct?
If the president
John
wanted to
McCain
stop
said
an
that's because he was up
investigation,
late watching a baseball game.
How would he do that? Knowing it's an ongoing criminal investigation or counterintelligence
And this is key
investigation,
because President Trump
would
could
that
have
be a
ended the
matter of
investigation legally if he wanted to, even though that's not what he tried to do. He could have if he wanted to.
Stop, or how would the president make an ongoing investigation stop?
He's the president.
Again, I'm not a
He's
legal
in charge.
scholar, so smarter
Oh,
people
he's not a
answer this
legal
better, but
scholar.
I think as a legal matter, the president is the head of the executive
Corporate lawyer,
branch
not a legal scholar.
and could
okay.
direct, in theory, we have important norms against this, but direct that anybody be investigated or anybody not be investigated.
So there you go. There's the top 10 moments from the Comey hearing. Wow, a lot of golden nuggets there. Him lying, him basically including Loretta Lynch into collusion with the Clintons, him admitting he's the leaker, which is also illegal. Unbelievable. Now, here's another clip of Comey talking about what has been or what has been alleged about Russia mingling in our elections.
There have been news accounts about the Russia investigation, about collusion, about this whole event, or accusations that, as you read the story, you were stunned about how wrong they got the facts.
Yes, there have been many, many stories purportedly based on classified information about, well, about lots of stuff, but especially about Russia that are just dead wrong.
Sorry, dead wrong. Nothing to see here about Russia. I mean, he was under oath. I guess he did have to tell the truth. That's why he admitted he was the leaker. Now, while all of this was going on, while the biggest C-SPAN ratings of all time, the most watched hearing of all time of any FBI director, all eyes were on this. Mainstream news outlets, cable, satellite, everyone cutting their feeds to go to the Comey hearing. While all the madness was going on, guess what President Trump was doing? Rebuilding America. Here's that video.
It's my pleasure to welcome so many incredible governors, tribal leaders, mayors, county commissioners, and other leaders of our country to the White House Infrastructure Summit. Today we're here to talk about how we will create the infrastructure of the future by partnering with the states and local governments. You're the stewards of the vast majority of our nation's roads and bridges and airports. In addition to reforming our broken permitting system, we want to partner with state and local governments to better meet the needs of our citizens. My budget proposal includes a massive investment in new federal support for infrastructure. These dollars will be matched by significant private, state, and local dollars for maximum efficiency and accountability. Together, we're going to rebuild America.
Now, did you see any mainstream news reporting on this? The president put out multiple videos, actually, and multiple tweets talking about his plan to rebuild America's infrastructure. Did any mainstream news cover that? Hardly any at all. It was all about the Comey hearing. Now, the Comey hearing was very important. A lot came out in it, and it's still important to digest and to figure out exactly what needs to be done as a reaction to the things that James Comey said and alleged about himself and about others. But let's not forget what we elected President Trump to do, folks. And he has really come through. If you just look at a flash shot of what President Trump has done, how could anybody not agree with this? Got us out of the TPP, easing the weight of NATO on our shoulders, got us out of the Paris Climate Accord, which will literally save us trillions of dollars, fired the head of the FBI. I could have walked around to every Bernie voter, probably most Hillary voters, mostly everybody Antifa, 5 years ago. I could have probably asked all these people 5 years ago, do you think the FBI is corrupt? I bet you 80% of more people would say, yes, the FBI is corrupt. What should we do? Fire the FBI director. Trump did it. He's draining the swamp. James Comey was the swamp, and he's a self-admitted coward. And I bet you, if he sits down one-on-one with Trump or some other hard ass who wants to get justice against the Clintons or whoever else is trying to rob America, he's going to sing like a bird because he's a self-admitted coward. Thanks, Comey. You turned a nothing burger into a Comey sandwich.
Infowars is the brainchild of radio host Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
It's fun.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Name Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Nice guy.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is a lunatic.
That man's a threat to this country.
There's a guy on the radio.
His name is Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones of the Muslim world. You know, it's
that
just
man's
like...
a saint. You watch your mouth.
Time to stop submitting to this tyranny. It's time to realize that we're being enslaved.
I heard that on Alex Jones.
Infowars. It's a radio show hosted by Alex Jones.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Nobody can dispute the fact
that you're a rapist.
Infowars.com.
Infowars comes to mind.
Infowars.
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 You watch Infowars?
The Infowars.
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 Infowars.com. I want freedom. That's what I want, and that's what you should want.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
I like that guy.
That is the best.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
What you just saw, what you just listened to, was just a very little piece of the mainstream media basically launching demonization reports against Infowars.com. They take our statements, they edit them, they take them out of context, they lie about us, they claim that we admit we're fake news. It's incredible. But in the last 24 hours, you've seen who is the fake news. I mean, it's incredible. We're going to have David Knight in here. We're going to have Owen Schroyer and other guests today, and the clips of Comey yesterday destroying himself, self-destructing. We all saw him admit he leaked. We saw him admit that President Trump didn't order him to stop the Russia investigation. We all witnessed him admitting that he's a coward and basically a minion of the establishment, and that the former Attorney General Loretta Lynch ordered him to stop criminal investigations. That's what's happening. But if you watch CNN or MSNBC, it's like Trump caught in lies, this and that. It is incredible how they are spinning that testimony. But the good news is we're here. We're covering it. We're playing the actual clips of what happened from the 3-hour testimony, not just the little clips they want to twist or edit. We're going over all of this, and we're going to do it today, one after the other, the real clips of what happened and what unfolded. Amazing. Remember, Trump asked Comey, are you the leaker? And Comey said no, months ago. Trump knew he was the leaker because these are conversations only they were having, and then Comey was spinning and twisting and putting out the fake memos and letting the media lie about what was in the memos. This is incredible. Now, that said, before we get to this analysis and this breakdown, I want to thank you, the listeners and the affiliates and the sponsors that have made this broadcast possible. It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. We're under attack. We're being demonized, just like America and President Trump is. But thanks to you standing with us and seeing through the lies, we are growing stronger by the day. So when you spread the links, the articles, the videos from Infowars.com, it is an act of resistance against the globalists. And when you financially support us by going to InfoWarsStore.com and getting some of the amazing thousands of products that are there, it allows you to get great products that you and your family need. And it also allows us to continue on into the future. Now, that said, my father is a dentist and oral surgeon. He's about to retire. He's close to 70. But I talked to him a few years ago when he was doing consulting for us, and I said, Dad, we need a product that's a game changer. I want it to be from a major manufacturer of organic, non-fluoride toothpaste, but our listeners want colloidal silver and they want true, clean iodine, high quality, pure iodine, not some, toxic bound garbage, but the good halogen. And they need it with tea tree oil. They need it with peppermint. And my dad spent the next few years finding the folks that could do it. And it turns out it's the biggest manufacturer of fluoride-free toothpaste in the United States, the same people that make Tom's of Maine. It's the company that makes it for them and others. And at their big facility, every few months now, they make us a new batch of Super Blue non-fluoride toothpaste with iodine, nano silver, plus peppermint and tea tree oil. So again, one complaint I had is the tube was kind of a weird tube I hadn't seen. We have a more space-age modern tube with a bigger port on the front so that you get more. My dad's argument was, he may be right, you may like the old tube better. Well, son, it's concentrated. There's no fillers, so we have to have a small opening so you don't use too much. Well, I've decided to go with this more modern space-age tube and a larger port. But the point is, Super Blue is back. And this really shows my philosophy. If I do something, it's something I want, something I use, something I believe in. And so we have Super Blue that's organic, made in America, high quality, game-changing with colloidal silver, and of course with the iodine. And it supports the broadcast. It supports your teeth. It supports your gum health. It supports your heart health, because the American Dental Association points out that a lot of heart problems are caused by infections in the gums. They get in your bloodstream and then into the ports and the ventricles of your heart. I mean, do your own research. Tooth health, getting them cleaned every few months, every 3 months at least, brushing twice a day, flossing is so essential. And so everything we do is about life. That's why it's Infowars Life. And this product, Super Blue, is from InfoWarsLife.com, and it's back in stock, and it's 33% off, despite the fact that we can't even keep this in stock. It's so popular. You're helping us build the new information warfare system. You're helping us hire more crew, get more reporters, more investigative journalists, more fact checkers to really take on the globalists at point blank range. So again, thank you all. Now I'm going to hand the baton over to Owen Schroyer and David Knight and others here today. I'll be popping back in later. But again, commit to yourself to check out InfoWarsStore.com, because we're building a new economy. We're building a system where we don't just give our money to big globalist corporations and then they use it against us. We're building an economy where you get high quality toothpaste at a great price, and then a large part of the profit from that goes into expanding an information warfare system to take on the globalist. We've also launched the new line of personal care products, Emmerich's Essentials, that's organic as well. So check that out when you visit InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsLife.com. And again, for myself, my family, the crew, and all other freedom lovers across the world, thank you all for supporting the InfoWar, because you are the reason we're having these great victories.